Hello, it's Molly Reamer with Bridget's Grove and 30 Days of Goddess, and I'm just making a quick little video about my tools of the week. I had a question recently, I've actually had a question a couple times about how I choose which goddesses I'm working with and what I do with them. And so I wanted to talk about that a little bit, as well as some other resources that I'm using. I actually don't have everything here because I have a lot of elements to my daily practice. I have my 30 Days of Goddess prayer book, etc. But one of the things that I'm using routinely is this bracelet that I made for myself that says simple and sacred on it. That is both a motto of the 30 Days of Goddess practice, but also the theme of our monthly circle, which is free to anyone on the 30 Days of Goddess mailing list. And it's kind of a life motto slash reminder to myself, because sometimes I make my life more complicated and harder than it needs to be. So I wear this bracelet to remind me to keep it simple and sacred. I've also been just loving these pocket prayer beads that Nikki of, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the business name, Mala. I'll link to it. I'll link to her Facebook or her Instagram page with her Mala's. I'm sorry that I'm spacing out on it right now, but she sent me this prayer bead bracelet and I am using this all the time. I really love it, and it happens to really match my word of the year goddess incredibly well. Isn't that magical? Look how well matched that is. So I carry these prayer beads in my pocket. I touch them during the day. I usually do a series of prayers with them in the morning, and then I do a series of affirmations with them at night. But they form a tactile connection in my pocket, regardless of whether I'm using them for a prayer or not. Then goddess-wise, so it's kind of hard to explain because there's multi-layered components to these goddesses. One of the core elements of pretty much everything we make is that it's practical, it's usable, it's something that can be part of your life and your days. It's not something to just keep up on a shelf to get dusty. So my primary reasons for choosing the goddesses that I choose is based on mood, season, and intuition. So mood, season, and intuition, as well as a little bit of encouragement sometimes. So mood, season, intuition with a nudge from encouragement. So, for example, my word of the year, Muse, is here with her Liberate charm. Oops, there we go, her Liberate charm. And so for me, she sums up, the color is evocative for me, the color placement with the kind of the universal expansion, to me, signifies liberate. I know she's a little plainer than some of the goddesses that I sometimes carry around, but part of that is liberating as well, kind of rising up and out of the confines that you've created for yourself. So to me, she said liberate. She wanted to be my word of the year goddess, and the reason I'm choosing her and carrying her around and keeping her in my pocket is to keep that word of the year close at hand. So a lot of times I choose goddesses because I want to call in, to embody, to bring in what it is that they're communicating. So I keep her with me because I want to be reminded of my liberate word of the year. And she both forms, she forms this touchstone, she forms this reminder, she forms a checking in point, she forms a tactile connection, and encourages me to embody, express, inhabit, and actually live that word of the year instead of just letting it go. I like tangible things. So ditto with the bracelet, with the simple and sacred. Like, this is something for me to see, look at, and wear and use so that it becomes a part of me and not just a nice idea. That's where I wear my word of the year rings as well. I have the 365 Days of Goddess ring. I have Liberate. I have a Rising. That's a big theme for me. And my companion word of the year, which is Replenish. So that might seem like a lot of words to carry in your hands, but it draws it in, it brings it in, it invites it to come home to you. So another goddess that I have with me right now is this one, who I really think is a sweet connection to the energy of Imbolc. So as I said, mood, color, season, and intuition. And so she's got this light color, which could also be the ice, but to me it's we just got back from our time at the beach, so it's this oceany kind of connection to the sea, and then the fiery energy of creativity and transformation, and she represents the union and the harmony of the two. So I've been keeping her with me in my back pocket as a reminder of that mood, inspiration, and encouragement. And then she's got little coals down here too. And then the other one I've been keeping with me in my front pocket is this one, who's kind of my word, like, she doesn't have a belt on, but I consider her to be my Liberate word of the year goddess. She's got that expansive possibility with the stars in her middle, but she also to me, as I said, mood brings me to this sense of kind of calm embodiment. She's very stabilizing and grounding, as well as expansive and full of possibility. So I keep her in my front pocket. And then the other one I have with me all the time lately is my Black Newgrange goddess. To me, this is the cave time goddess. She is, and that's again the color, the mood, the energy, the embodiment, the intuition. She is representing cave time, going deep, letting myself rest, steeping, diving in, sinking inward, continuing to let the energy of winter percolate in me instead of bursting forth into a riot of new colors and new ideas. And then her pattern is very evocative of sacred paths and trusting in the arising and the unfolding. Plus, she feels really good to hold in the hand. So this one's with me usually, and this is how I use them. That's the question, was like, how do you use them? So these two I usually physically carry with me in my hand. So even when I was at Panera the other day and I ordered my food while I'm still holding these two in my hand while I was ordering my food, I carry them with me in my hand. Other ones stay in my pockets. I usually have one in the front of my shirt. I don't have her with me today because I forgot to put her in there. She's still sitting by my morning altar by my yoga mat, but I have her with me in my shirt usually. So these I physically carry with me in my hand, like I said, as a touchstone. Then if I'm working at my computer, I set them down by my computer. When I do yoga in the morning, I set them by my yoga mat. When I go to bed at night, or when I eat dinner, I set them by my plate. When I go to bed at night, I set them by my bed. When I get up in the morning, I pick them back up. So for me, it's a way of physically, like I have said before, that one of the reasons we make goddess art is to give people something to hold on to make the connection to the divine tangible, to physically be able to hold that connection in your hand. And then I also write about, are we held in the palm of her hand, or is she held in the palm of our hand? The answer is both. We have this experience within us and around us. And so I hold her in the palm of my hand every day. And then these accompany me from task to task to task as almost like a miniature altar, as space holders. So guardians, guides, sacred space tenders, inspirers, nurturers, companions, it's all embodied in these little tiny forms. And so then other tools that I'm using this week, I'm working through the Inner Field Trip by Lisa Renee Hall. Please check her out. I believe it's innerfieldtrip.com. I'm part of her base camp. I've been one of her patrons for quite a few years, and she's doing a 30-day inner field trip quest in January. So I'm super glad to be taking part in that. This is about confronting inner biases and working with your inner oppressor for liberation and justice for all. And so I do recommend that. So I'm working with that this week and through January. I'm still finishing up my January guidebook, as well as working on the February one. I don't have the February one handy to show you, but it's you'll see it in another video soon. But I'm finishing up this, and so I have some cards I'm still coloring, I have things I'm adding to the back of it, etc. So that's a companion in my days. I just received the Seasons of Solace book from Jennifer Miller, who I really enjoy as a poet. She's quillofthegoddess.com. And so I'm reviewing that book for her. So that just came, so that is keeping me company. And then The Life Organizer, which is an older book by Jennifer Loudon. Jennifer Loudon is one of my sheroes in writing and in personal development and self-care work, as well as good plain sense. And so I am using her book again this year after a several year hiatus, and I have created, and so I'm also using these journal cards that I've made inspired by my own work and by quotes from this book and by quotes from other people that then I use during our weekly lives. I do a weekly live with our patron only Facebook group where I show up for a community practice, and these cards are helping guide and shape our community practices in 2024. So that is one of the other tools that I'm finding useful and happy this week, is those journal cards that I've created. So everybody, when I show up for the community practice, we have some space for discussion, shared practice, and then the replay gets posted and I include the journal cards with those. So that is what I'm using and working with this week, this month, or as the month winds down. And I hope you found that helpful. I would love to hear about what sacred tools help inspire, enrich, and nourish your work as well. Thanks so much for being here. Keep living your magic.